I spent the better part of 2 years renovating my house into the ultimate tech house. And while the super fast 10 gig networking, ballin' Wi-Fi, and custom theater room are freaking awesome, there's a couple of things that didn't exactly go according to plan. You see, it wouldn't be much of an ultimate tech house if it wasn't smart. And as a father of 3, the first thing that came to mind was automatic lights. So, like any sane person would, I installed over 100 GE Jasco smart motion switches, only to discover that they were so buggy that they've rendered my entire Z-Wave smart home network pretty much inoperable. Not very smart. Which maybe wouldn't be so bad if even the dumb functionality, like the integrated motion sensors, worked freaking half decent. Come on. Oh. Hello! Luckily for me, Innovelli, another smart switch company, heard my cries and decided to design a smart switch that would solve all of my problems using millimeter wave technology, which can detect people even when they aren't moving. After raising nearly $500,000 on Indiegogo and spending many painful months on R&D, I finally have one in my hands. And today, sponsored by Homey and their Homey Pro Smart Hub, we're gonna start fresh and we're gonna try these out and hopefully see the beginning of the end of my smart home troubles. I really hope these work because I don't think my marriage is gonna survive another pool party with the lights turning off every 5 minutes.
It won't.
Before we get too deep into the cool tech in these, let's talk about the problems that Innovelli was trying to solve. You guys already saw that the motion sensors are anything but sensitive, but there's a lot more. For starters, if you have a 3-way switch, so that's 2 switches controlling the same fixture, you can only have a motion sensor on one of them and then a dummy on the other side, which for stairs can be a downright safety issue because it'll automatically turn the lights on when you're going one way, but not the other. This one drives me crazy. I like to have the lights off when I go to bed, but I want the motion sensors active in case I need to get up. But by the time I can get away from them, they activate again, and you can't reconfigure that. This one's been a real bee in my bonnet. My old switches will only fade on and fade off, which can be quite hard on smart bulbs and other non-dimmable fixtures. Not that they behave much better with dimmable bulbs, and you can see what I mean here in the gaming room. This is one of the ones that still works. The worst part though, is that they've gummed up my Z-Wave network so much that I can't even adopt the last 20% or so of the switches, and I'm even having issues with non-Jasco devices like my Bali Z-Wave blinds. The blinds have been a particularly sore spot for me because the switches are way up here, and I'm, well, vertically challenged. It's not like I want to replace my switches. We managed to get Jasco to release the firmware for this product, which wasn't previously available. Unfortunately, they never updated it to fix any of this stuff. And when I reached out to a Z-Wave wizard who offered to help me, they basically said, wow, I've never seen anything this bad before. In fairness to Jasco, part of the problem is I have so many devices, but like, it's a smart home! That's the idea! And besides, no amount of firmware updates is gonna fix that infrared motion sensing kind of last millennium's technology. Let's talk about Homey and first, these new Innovelli switches. Innovelli was actually one of the front runners when we were sampling options for the house, and they would have been my first choice. They've got a sick LED bar that can help finding switches in the dark, show the dimming level, and even be programmed to display alerts and stuff like that. They worked flawlessly in our testing. The only problem is they didn't have a motion dimmer or any kind of presence detector at the time. But now they do. Despite many delays, this is a complicated product and they wanted to make this work, it's finally here. Let's try it. Why? Oh shoot, I need a stubby. LTTstore.com. Well, the switch works.
What?
So that's good.
So much more responsive.
Well, it works like a normal switch, which is, I will never take for granted again, but I couldn't help noticing that the motion sensing is not working.
Well, it's not adopted yet. I don't know what the default behavior is, and this firmware is like very alpha.
Okay, let's adopt it.
Just testing.
To do that, I could use my existing Home Assistant instance and Z-Wave stick, but the problem with that idea is that I don't have these new Innovelli switches yet. I need to rely on these Jasco ones for a while longer, and if I unpair them and start fresh, it is going to be a nightmare. So instead, I'm turning to our sponsor, Homey, and we're going to be using the Homey Pro to start over. For the uninitiated, Z-Wave is a wireless low-energy smart home communication standard that operates in the 900-ish megahertz band, which is great for me because I need to not interfere with my already also kind of mangled 2.4 gigahertz Wi-Fi. That's why I didn't want to go with Zigbee. But the Homey Pro Hub can do both without issue, so we could try Zigbee later. For now, that was the physical aspect of the setup, so let's get it configured. Let's add a new Homey, Homey Pro. Found Homey Pro. Hey, look at that, it changes color. Oh, it supports 5 gigahertz Wi-Fi. Don't take that for granted with smart home stuff. Okay, set up my home. How many floors does your home have? A couple. I'm setting up all the zones right now, or at least I'm trying. This is seriously like a pretty clean interface. Well, we're set up. The whole process took about 4 minutes. Now what?
While we could add that switch as a generic Z-Wave device, there is an Innovelli app, just not officially. It's still kind of in development, so I gotta just manually add it. Typically, when you add one that has an app, it'll pop up and be like, you should use the app when you try to add it.
Oh, cool.
That doesn't work yet.
Everything's very alpha. By the way, shout out to Homey for being absolute homies and working with Innovelli to get this going for us.
They were literally fixing things for me this morning.
Actual Chads. And what's the benefit of an app?
That just gives you specific customization stuff. And then we go back to Homey, and in theory, apps, boom, already there. Sweet.
Okay, now we can add a device.
Now we can add a device. We're gonna have to go to the switch though.
Let's do it.
Did you add Office yet?
Yeah, I mean, that's the only reason it took me like 4 or 5 minutes to do this is because I was adding all my rooms.
Here we go, Office. And then connect device,
Okay.
Innovelli. This is a smart presence sensing dimmer.
I'm sure they'll have a catchier name for it at some point.
Yeah.
Do I need to...
Press the pair button 3 times quickly. And then do it again.
Again?
Yeah, twice more.
I mean, it's doing stuff.
Just do it again, trust me.
Fine.
Your house is pretty mangled in the 900 megahertz range for whatever reason.
I think it's pretty mangled in every range right now.
And I imagine that switch right next to it's probably not helping.
Nope, probably not.
We might need to move the hub over here just to get it to comprende, you know?
That makes sense. Once you've got a whole bunch of devices paired to it, they'll mesh up, and that's not going to be a problem, but just to make life simpler for ourselves. He told me not to get these GE switches, and he takes every possible opportunity to rub it.
I haven't said it today.
Yeah, not today.
I tried to get you to get the Innovelli ones and have different motion sensors, and I understand why you didn't want to do that. But also,
I wanted it all clean and integrated.
if you could go back, would you?
I think what I would have done is just left regular switches until Innovelli developed these. But then Innovelli might have never developed these if I didn't make my video complaining that they didn't exist.
Yeah.
So I would change nothing.
You know what's inside there? It's actually a Raspberry compute module.
Really?
Yeah, it's a CM4.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
That means it's good and should actually be really well supported.
Yeah, that's a good sign. Hey, there we go. Hey, look at that. Device completed. Perfect. Continue setup. We are in the office. I'd already picked that up, and then I guess we should just change this to like office switch. Like this whole thing is so beta still. They only made like 50 of this version, and we got 2 of them to test out. I mean, it works as a light switch right now. Let's see if the motion's picking up. Oh, look at that motion alarm. Yes. Oh, and cool. Actually, let's see. So with the lights all the way on, it's 50 watts of power. And we should see the light value, the luminance go up in a little bit here, probably. Let's see. Oh, wow, there's even like charts. No data, obviously, because we just adopted it. Today? No data yet.
Okay, we're paired now, which means in theory, I should be able to turn it off. Probably it's a lot smarter than my old ones and it has a bit of a delay on this, but I should be able to move.
Oh, it definitely detects you.
Oh, well, for crying out loud. Okay, well, how do we make it turn on with motion?
Well, I think we'd have to leave for a bit and then come back.
Okay. Oh, I can do that.
I don't know what the timeout is. Like, they didn't send me a list of parameters. It seems that they match up with their old style switches for the other stuff, but obviously the old style switches don't have a motion sensor.
Cool. Okay, I'm gonna try
It's
it.
still detecting motion.
What? It still detects us.
Like most smart home things, it doesn't update all the time because
makes
otherwise
sense.
it'd be way too much traffic. So it probably updates like once a minute or something like that.
All right, we'll give it a sec.
I don't know, maybe we're in the reflection of something right now.
Oh.
Glass door, you know?
Okay.
Stuff like this is part of the reason they're not actually going to be using that sensor that's in that switch in the production version. There's a new sensor which uses, I think, 79 gigahertz instead of 24 gigahertz in that one, and it has a bunch more configuration. Like you can tell it to only track in a small section of the sensor and stuff like that.
Actually, now's a good time for us to explain this new sensor technology that they're using. The big game changer here is millimeter wave. The old ones used passive infrared sensors, which measure radiation or heat from things like humans, cats, etc. The new switch uses millimeter wave, which is named after the wavelength of radio signals in the 30 to 300-ish gigahertz range. It uses those to detect presence, and these sensors are so accurate they can easily detect someone even if they're trying to stay still, because just breathing is enough to trigger them. That makes them useful not for just motion and being aware of something that's broadly in the vicinity, but exactly how many things are in the vicinity, where they are, and potentially what they're doing.
It's like radar.
So cool. A little big brothery, but cool. Any luck? Oh, I don't think it's working, Jake.
Oh no!
No!
Oh, it did work on the other one. It showed on my side that when you walked in that it was on, but it wasn't on. I love alpha testing. Should we try the other one? They sent 2 of them. Who knows? Maybe this one's bunk.
The most important part for me is honestly not the turning on when I go near them. We already got that. I want them to not turn off when I'm just sitting still in the room. While we're waiting, why don't we pair some blinds? Because I was having a heck of a time getting any of those to pair with Home Assistant.
Okay. I mean, realistically, are you going to control this area differently than those ones? Actually, maybe yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So we'll call this like the nook.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. I could put it under kitchen, maybe?
Yep.
New zone, kitchen, nook. And we'll put it part of, lovely. Connect device, let's try it.
All right.
Oh, wait, we gotta add the app. Perfect. We can add the app, new app. I don't know why it opens in a web browser, but it seems to work like beautifully, so whatever. Bali.
There's a new version of my blinds that has Bluetooth that makes them a little easier to configure and stuff.
That would have been like, you probably missed the cutoff by like a couple months.
Nice. I had an absolute demon of a time trying to get these things to pair with my setup. Like they just wouldn't.
Nook middle blinds, I guess?
Okay.
I mean, you're not gonna need to address them individually, but it would be good to have it set if you did have to do that. Okay, and then I guess this one?
Okay.
I mean, I don't need a... I can read.
I'm fine.
I can't believe these are just pairing.
Yeah, did you try them before?
I did, but
the other setup? Like, did it work?
What do you mean?
Like, did you try them with my setup before? With
oh, yeah, no, they don't work.
Yeah.
No.
I guess that's the issue with a mesh network. If it's made up of devices that are just a mesh. Get it? A mesh? A mess? Anyway, the point is, Windows are one of the main things you'd want to build automations for because, you know, energy efficiency and stuff like that. And I just haven't been able to do it because I haven't been able to pair these bloody things to my broken Z-Wave network. This is great. And the Homey Hub's not even that close anymore. Now that we've got a couple light switches paired to it, the mesh is happening.
Fortunately, Homey is compatible with a ton of other products, so if you don't already have Z-Wave blinds in your house, you can use something like the Rise Smart Shade system, which can turn normal blinds into smart ones. In order to control all these as a group, I'm going to use something called a flow, which is what Homey calls its automation system. I went ahead and created one that says when this flow started. That's something you would just like manually trigger or trigger with another flow, and then set all the positions to 100%, which is to open all of them. The opposite one, close, sets them all to 0%. And then when we hit go.
Hey, there we go.
For those that want even more control, they also have advanced flows in the web version of the Homey app. It's still easy to use, everything is drag and drop, but it gives you a lot more flexibility. For example, I made an advanced flow that pulls our subscriber count from the YouTube API. That way, I can make it so Linus's home automations only work if the subscriber count goes up that day.
Now we get to try the light switch. What do you think, Jake? Motion gonna work?
Doesn't seem like it.
Well,
They clearly weren't working, are you kidding me?
What do you mean they clearly were working?
They weren't working.
Yeah, but we could have checked the thing to see if
I
it
already
showed the
did.
motion.
I already did.
And it detected it?
Yeah, it still says yes as of 20 minutes ago. I think there's something in this room that moves enough that it's triggering still. We might have to try it in a different room. Oh, you know what, Linus? Look what's right in front of the light switch.
Smart thermostat?
No, turn around.
What?
The vines?
No, those are fake.
Yeah, but they'll move.
They're not gonna move.
Like with the HVAC, they might. I reckon we try it in a bathroom or something where like nothing's going on. There's a reason they're changing the sensor and there is no tuning parameters right now. It will be better.
Credit to Homey though. Their stuff has worked flawlessly so far.
I know, this has actually been great.
Wait.
It just worked.
It worked?
It worked. It
picked you up from under the door crack?
Well, like I said, it's really sensitive and this light switch is pointed at the door. So even like walking over here could be enough of like an air pressure differential to move the door enough to trigger that. Like, it's not a great position to have a millimeter wave sensor, you know what I mean?
But with the other one, we could set no zones for it, right?
Yeah, over to here would be like detection and then here,
yeah.
The door.
Yeah.
Should we try one more different spot with the other light switch?
You just want me to zap myself.
I mean, kind of.
We want to do another demo in the bathroom downstairs, so I'm just throwing in one of Innovelli's Red Series switches, so I at least have a working switch in this room. It's been driving us crazy while we've been trying to scrapbook. Yes, I scrapbook. There's nothing wrong with that. In this bathroom, there should not be anything that can move. So hopefully we can get a good clean demo here. I'm actually super excited though that these are so sensitive because that bathroom upstairs, man, if you sit and play mobile games or read something on the toilet, you're stuck in the dark. And I already showed you guys how hard it is to reactivate the motion sensors I have now. You're figuring out your business in the dark until you're all the way up when that happens. So this is gonna be awesome with proper presence detection.
Those lights in there draw 25 watts if you're wondering.
Whoa, no way, they have power monitoring? That's pretty cool.
They also have light sensors, so if it's like really bright in a certain room and you don't want the lights to turn on automatically when it's bright, you can set it up to do that.
How would that work with Homey?
You could say like, if it turns on and this is too high, then don't.
Sick.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. It works.
You haven't even walked in yet.
Now, the question is, how sensitive is it?
Well, there's probably a timeout.
Right.
I don't think it will trigger again until the motion is like cleared for a little bit and then triggered again. Knowing Innovelli, I'm sure there'll be configuration options for that too. There just isn't right now. Or at least I don't know what they are.
It still knows I'm in here though, right?
Oh yeah.
Cool.
Why don't you walk out for a second and then try it again?
Okay, I'll walk out. Let's see. I'm kind of stoked on how simple Homey is.
It's really simple.
Why did I do the whole Home Assistant thing again?
Well, I don't know. Hey, look, no, it's clear.
Okay, so it's about a minute.
Run in there again. It might be exactly a minute.
I want to see just how sensitive it is.
You're gonna sneak up on it?
Yeah. Just hold on.
Dude, the door is gonna trigger this alarm.
No. I'm gonna just... I don't think it can see me down there. Ow, my finger is stuck. Oh. Okay, well, yeah. Oh, that's why it couldn't see, because of the molding. Dude, the second I was clear of this occlusion here, it was on. I don't think we're gonna fool it.
It still says motion, buddy. You're just wasting your time.
I give up. There's no way I'm gonna be able to hide from this thing, which is a good thing. You want a presence detection system to work like this, so that's good.
Now you can doom scroll on this shit in peace.
I think the best thing about today is just how painless everything was. I'm used to having range issues that I need to sort out with like USB extensions on my Z-Wave stick, but instead, the Homey Pro just immediately worked because I can put it anywhere I want instead of it being stuck in my concrete basement. They've got a ton of different solutions. So while the Homey Pro is a little on the pricier side for some, they also have the Homey Bridge, which is a much cheaper hub that can be used as an extension for the Homey Pro, or can be used standalone with their cloud software and a subscription. For myself, I just like having everything running locally, and fortunately, Homey does have that option and doesn't require a subscription for that. We'll have links to Homey and the rest of the stuff that we showed off in the video description. Before we wrap up, there's a couple other things we should highlight from Homey. Their dashboards are in beta. They provide a customizable visual interface to control and monitor your smart home devices. There's a high degree of personalization. You can have real-time control and insights into things like temperature, energy usage, or security status. It's available on the Homey app for iOS and Android. And we haven't even shown you some of the other really cool features, like Homey Moods. They allow you to quickly capture and set the lighting in your home by creating custom moods or choosing from pre-made ones. And while Jake showed you guys Homey Flows, there's a whole other level of customization with Homey Script, which I think is more for the Jakes of the world and I probably wouldn't touch. What I will touch is those finished switches, and then maybe between now and then we can figure out, do I keep Home Assistant or do I just go with something simpler?
I don't know, Homey seems to work pretty good.
And they're homies. If you guys enjoyed this video, why not check out the one where we originally installed my Jasco switches? It was kind of a nightmare, but hey.
What do you mean it's kind of a nightmare? We're still living in it.
Sometimes that's fun for you guys.